press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello my dear students. In the last class we had discussed about agriculture, right? We had started to discuss about agriculture, what exactly is agriculture and what all things are there mentioned in the agriculture, right? We had come across what are arable lands, where and all these arable lands are located, okay? So we had discussed about this, right? Apart from that, we had even discussed the sectors here, right? The primary sector, the secondary sector and the tertiary sector. So how it works, and when it comes to agriculture, it comes totally under the primary sector. So how it is helping the secondary and tertiary sector. So we had discussed about these things, right? So today let us know something more about farming here, that is types of farming. So apart from that, yes, in the last the previous classes we had discussed about certain things, right? How the farming goes, okay, how it is carried out, right? The farm system. So what all inputs and outputs we get. So very first is, when it comes to farm system, very first thing that happens here is plowing. Then comes the sowing, irrigation, weeding and harvesting. So we had discussed about all these things in detail, right? So now let us know something about types of farming. Okay, so when it comes to types of farming, as everybody knows, farming is practiced in various ways across the world. So this everybody knows, right? So it is practiced everywhere, right? It is not only at one particular place or one part of the nation or at only one part of in the world, nothing as such. So each and everywhere you can see that various ways they are having their own what I can say, the farming structure, or say when it comes to farming they have their own style of working. So it is practiced in various ways across the world, okay? So it depends upon the geographical conditions. So when it comes to geographical condition, it means that the climate, whether the soil is good, okay, how fertile is the soil, whether the soil is good for cultivating a particular crop. Okay, so apart from that, okay, the geographical condition, nothing but the whether the climate is whether the climate is favorable or no. So apart from this, we even have demand of produce, labor and level of technology. So what kind of technology is being given, whether that technology is really reliable, whether that technology is good to be adopted. So the level of technology, whether it is advanced technology, whether they are having still they have just now started with the technology, it totally depends. Even demand of produce and labor, the availability of labor also matters a lot when it comes to agriculture. And then next comes farming, okay, like how it is classified. So it is classified into two types, that is subsistence farming and the commercial farming. So what is the subsistence farming? So when it comes to subsistence farming, again it is further divided into intensive subsistence farming and primitive subsistence farming. Okay, like when it comes to subsistence, what exactly it is, how it works actually. So let us know about those things in detail. So you can see the picture itself. In the picture you can make out certain things. Okay, this is related to something wherein whole vegetables or maybe like fruits, everything at one particular place. See, subsistence, when it comes to subsistence farming, it is a kind of practice to meet the needs of a farmer's family, that's it. Okay, nothing but whatever the production, okay, whatever they have produced, it is just to serve their family and not for commercialization, nothing but to sell or give it to somebody else. So no, absolutely, it is just for their family's sake they are producing. So subsistence, nothing but to satisfy themselves, it is just for their own sake. Okay, so it is a kind like practice to meet the needs of a farmer's family. So traditionally low level of like technology is necessary. So this doesn't need any modern way of modernization or say modern way of farming, because it is just to serve their family, right? So hardly any people are there to be served. So hardly 4 to 5 people. So maybe 1 acre of land they'll be having, or maybe lesser than that. So within the available land, what they do, they cultivate. They cultivate certain farming and all. They do farming, they come up with all the fruits, vegetables and all, and that is just to serve their family. And they don't follow this modern technology. The reason is it is not to serve the whole world, or maybe it is not for exporting or not even selling it at any other place. It is just for their family. So that's the reason what these people do. They don't even need any labor from outside the family. So within the family, whosoever are there, they will be helping each other, and they'll come up, they act as the labor here. And they are used to produce small output, very less. Say how much ever your family needs, how much ever the people, the persons needs. To satisfy those needs, you are producing in a small quantity. So later on, again, when it comes to subsistence, it is further classified as intensive and primitive subsistence farming. So what actually is intensive? What actually is subsistence? Like primitive subsistence. Let us know about those things here. So intensive subsistence farming. Now in the picture you can see the farmer there, right? What exactly he is carrying all the things, and he has to put it like he has to separate it, right? So here, the farmer here, like he will be having a small plot of land, wherein he is using it. Let me tell you, again, he is not following any modernized way of farming, but yes, he is using all the simple tools, or say very comparatively, he is not depending upon the household labor, but few labors are helping him here. All the small simple tools, maybe the ox, for plowing and all, for maybe other things, harvesting and all, he might use all the available tools, very simple tools, not those thresher and all. He is not using all the modernized techniques here. So very simple tools he is using. So that is intensive subsistence farming. So how about the climatic conditions here? So when it comes to climatic condition, the required climatic condition are like, see, very large number of days of sunshine is needed. So they need a very good sunshine, and even fertile soil is necessary. See, fertile soil is necessary even if you are going ahead with only subsistence, or either subsistence or other commercial farming. Doesn't matter, but fertility of the soil matters a lot. And here they grow more than one crop. When it comes to intensive, it is in very speedily it is happening. If you have a fertile soil, so one or more crops you can grow in in a particular year on the same plot. Not again shifting, or you are having rotational and all. Within the same plot they are using it. More than 2 crops they are growing it annually. So when it comes to intensive, there are certain crops which are grown in a large quantity, or again and again they try to grow those things. So that includes rice, maize, pulses, wheat, etc. So those crops gets repeatedly, or they grow these repeatedly. And yes, it is popular in thickly populated areas, because people do need it for serving them, or even for selling it to a particular area. So those they are concentrating upon those people, and there has to be thickly populated areas. And yes, monsoon region is main. Because the rice and all, it needs heavy rainfall and all, right? Not like heavy in the matter, not like flood, but yes, it needs rainfall. So maybe regions of south or southeast, and East Asia, southeast and again East Asia. So these are the places wherein we can find that intensive subsistence farming is being carried out. The next is primitive subsistence farming. So what actually is primitive subsistence? So see, when it comes to primitive subsistence, it is practiced on small patches of land. What they do, like they use all the, again same thing, intensive subsistence. They use all these primitive tools, that is hoe, dove and digging sticks, or say family community labor are used here. And then yes, it is a type of farming wherein farmers depend on the monsoons and natural fertility. Okay, so what they do, they totally depend upon the natural, the farming, okay, like natural things, nothing but for the irrigation and all they don't do. Okay, naturally it has to rain, nothing but the monsoon and natural fertility. Okay, this artificial fertilization and all, it is not used there. So that is when it comes to primitive subsistence agriculture. So let us know the differences. Okay, when it comes to primitive subsistence, it is practiced on small patches of land and intensive. Though it is on a small patch, comparatively it is bigger compared to the primitive subsistence. Primitive tools, okay, when it comes to usage of tools for the agriculture, it is hoe, dove and digging sticks and family community labor, etc. Intensive, it needs all these modern inputs like highly yielding variety seeds and chemical fertilizers, insecticides, etc. are used to get good productivity. Okay, and when it comes to primitive, in this type of farming, farmers depend on the monsoons and natural fertilizer. Okay, as I told you, natural fertility is important, or they depend totally upon the natural fertility. Intensive, here irrigation facility are being used, so they don't depend upon the nature, like for the monsoon and all, they are using the artificial way of irrigation. When it comes to primitive, land productivity in this type of agriculture is very low. When it comes to intensive, land productivity is very high because they are using, and even the crops are used for commercial purposes, okay, nothing but to sell. Okay, for the sake of selling. So here see, like intensive, as I told you, no doubt a small plant land is used, and again he'll be using all these things. No doubt, see, when they are telling more labor, definitely it is for good cultivation, and the cultivated land, cultivated crops or whatever crops they have received, they'll be selling it, nothing but commercialization. Okay, but when it comes to primitive, land productivity in this type of agriculture is very low. So under primitive subsistence, it is further again, or it includes these kind, that is shifting cultivation or say nomadic herding. So what actually is shifting cultivation? Let us know about that thing. See, shifting cultivation is known with different names in different areas. For example, it is called as jhumming, that too in northeast India, and milpa in Mexico, roca in Brazil, and ladang in Malaysia. So these are the names that has been given. Okay, like at different places, this shifting cultivation has got different names. So shifting, the name itself suggests. So you keep shifting the crops from one place to another for better cultivation. So here you see, it is practiced in the thickly populated areas, again Amazon basin, tropical Africa, parts of Southeast Asia and Northeast India. So these are the places wherein you can find that yes, you are practicing all this things there, and these areas get heavy rainfall there. Okay, do remember this, they get heavy rainfall and quick regeneration of vegetation. Again and again there will be good regeneration. So what they do here, okay, for shifting, what exactly they do? The plot will be cleared, the trees are removed, okay, they allow the trees to fall and they burn them. Okay, they burn them, and then mixing those things, okay, yes, they burn them and then they mix these ash with the soil. See, as you all know, certain ashes are very fertile in nature. So that's the reason what they do, they clear a plot by making the trees to fall and burn them, and then they mix up those ashes with the soil so that it gives high yield. Okay, this is one way. So what all crops will be grown here are, it is maize, yam, potato and cassava are grown. So see how they do it. Now they are cultivating at one particular land, right? So now what they do, once they cultivate, then they have to know, or they have to know the fertility of the soil, right? Once they feel that okay, this soil is losing its fertility, then the land is abundant, okay, and the cultivator moves to new plot. So this is how they shift. Okay, like the people who is cultivating those things, they keep on shifting from one place to another. So that is how the things are carried from one place to another. So today if they are cultivating it in one particular land here, because they feel that the fertility is good, and now if the fertility is losing or it is deteriorating, then what they do, from there they come to this area and there they shift. Understood? So this is like shifting cultivation. It is again known as slash and burn agriculture, because what they do, they make all the trees to fall, okay, or even the plants, like once they harvest, so what they do, they lit like the fire, and once it gets totally burnt up, they come up with, they try to see if at all the soil is fertile, and if it is really fertile, then they cultivate. If not, they shift. Okay, so that is shifting cultivation. The next is nomadic herding. Herding, as you all know, like it is nothing but herding or herds group, right? So it is practiced in semi-arid area and arid regions, okay, wherein Sahara, Central Asia and some other parts of India, like maybe Rajasthan and Jammu and Kashmir, okay. So herdsmen, as you all know, these people who take care of the herds, okay, any of the animals in a herd, okay, maybe sheep or even buffaloes and all, like it depends. So what they do, they move from place to place with their animals, fodder, and even they water along defined routes. So they'll be having a particular route. Okay, so what they do, in that particular route itself, they carry, they move, okay, from one place to another place. What they do, they take up their animals, they carry even the fodder and even water, and they move along one particular place. Now the movement arises in response to the climatic condition. If the climate is very good, even for them and even the animals they are carrying with themselves, if at all that is good for them, then definitely they would be, in that response they'll be staying there. And they always check for a climatic condition and terrain. Okay, there should not be any problem for the animals nor themselves. Then only they'll be moving, the movement will be seen. So the herding can be seen when it comes to sheep, camel, yak, goats, etc. Okay, so that is reared just for the sake of milk, meat, wool, hides, and other products, okay, to the herder. So what all other products they get, maybe it is regarding any such something that can earn for themselves, okay, that can through that itself they can earn. So those things they'll be taking care of. So that's the reason they rear all these animals, and that itself is called as nomadic herding. So with the changes in the climate, they keep changing their routes. Understood? Yes. The next one is commercial farming. So as you can see, money, making money, commercial. So when it comes to commercial, the mindset itself should be like, yes, making money. So here crops are grown and animals are reared. Both will be carried out, okay, like nomadic herding. So here also same thing, but yes, the modernized way, okay, the things changes, because it is for the commercial farming. It is not for only for their sake or for their betterment. No, it is for the earning, okay, it is for the sake of business. So here crops are grown and even animals are reared, okay, for selling it in market, first thing. And the area is cultivated and the capital used is very large, okay, capital, the earlier investment what they do for the sake of either agriculture or herding, okay, that will be totally large in number, okay, it will be very large in number. So when it comes to this, the work is done by machines. So as I have told you, when it comes to commercial farming, it totally depends upon the commercialization, or say like it totally depends upon the modern way of yielding. So that's the reason here works are done by machines. So this includes commercial grain farming, mixed farming and plantation agriculture. Through what they can earn, okay, through certain things wherein they can earn, those things will be included here. Nothing but farming, okay, grain farming, mixed farming and plantation farming. So let us know about those things here. Yes, so the next is commercial grain farming. You see again the money, right? It matters a lot. So when it comes to commercial grain farming, crops are grown for commercial purpose. It is for the sake of earning itself. Nothing but whatever crops they have grown, they sell it in the market. Okay, they sell it in the market and they gain certain things there. So for the sake of earning itself, these crops are grown. So crops are grown for commercial purpose. Wheat, maize are common commercial grain farming. So wheat, because most of the people, they depend upon wheat. It's not only in India, even in foreign nation, wheat is main thing, because out of wheat itself they produce maida, right? And maida is very common in other places because they need bread, right? So bread, bun, etc., all those things. So that's the reason people do depend upon wheat. And maize, corn, you people might have eaten, right? Yes, so that is again a common commercial grain farming. So where and all it is practiced? So it is practiced in temperate grasslands of North America, Europe and Asia. So these are the places wherein they practice this commercial grain farming. And yes, so it is like sparsely populated with large farms spread over 100 of hectares. So see, always remember what people do. In the farm itself, they'll be having their house and all. Okay, so they are having a large areas wherein 100 of hectares. Okay, so wherein they plan up for farming. So severe winters restrict the growing season and only a single crop can be grown. Sorry for the mistake there. Yes, severe winters, okay, like restrict the growing season. Yes, because of the winter, what they have to do, they have to cultivate only one particular crop and then they have to again stop, or they have to wait for some good weather. Okay, so that is main when it comes to commercial grain farming. Next is mixed farming. So see in the picture itself, you can see one row is having one particular plants, the other row here you can see, right? So the other row is having different plants. So it is like in a particular land itself, you are growing more than one particular food, or say food, a crop. Okay, the land is used for growing food and fodder crops, okay, or say rearing livestock. So where and all it is practiced, here also you can see in the picture, right? Sorry, yes, see here. So this line, right, whole row you have here. So that, and you know the beside one here, right, you can make out the difference, right? Yes. So two or more crops are grown in a particular land. So it is practiced mainly in Europe, Eastern USA, Argentina, South Africa, Southeast Australia and New Zealand. So these are the places wherein mixed farming is carried out. The next is plantation farming. As you all know, you might have seen this banana plantation or tea plantation, or even like coffee like plantations and also plantations wherein seeing the picture itself you can make out, right? So commercial farming, you can make out the difference, right? So plantation farming. So commercial farming where single crop of tea, coffee or banana, cotton, cashew, sugarcane, rubber, these things are grown. Okay, it is like whole area will be used for one particular plantation. Okay, so this needs a large amount of labor. The reason is, you might have seen, right, in movies and all, they have shown, right, to remove those leaves. Okay, and that's the reason labors are needed more, and even capital is required more. Okay, do remember, capital and even labor both are required in a large amount. Okay, the produce, like it may be produced on the farm itself in nearby factories. So what they do, in that area itself they keep a factory so that they can further process it. Okay, so it depends. Okay, it depends upon the mentality of people, or even it depends upon the people if they are really interested in this business or no. And the development of a transport network is essential. As you all know, it has to be carried from the agricultural plantation land towards the factories and all, right? As I told you, it has to undergo certain like processes. Okay, so after that itself you will be getting all those powder and all, right? So that's the reason. Either it may be like within the plantation farming itself they might have, or sometimes it would be like they have to transport it from one place to another. So that's the reason they again need a good transportation network. And yes, this is mainly found in tropical regions of the world. So certain examples that can be when it comes to plantation farming are coffee when it comes to Brazil, no doubt even India is one among those. Then rubber in Malaysia, tea in India and Sri Lanka. So these are the plantation farming which actually needs a large amount of labor and even capital. Okay, so the next is organic farming. Now we might have heard, so this is growing as though there was no other farming nowadays, right? So organic jaggery, organic salt, so you have come along, even fruits, right? Fruits, vegetables, they don't tell this is organic, madam, you have to use it, right? Yes, it is costlier compared to the other things, okay, but yes, they say that it is very healthy. So in this type of farming, when it comes to organic farming, okay, organic manure and natural pesticides are used. Again, in the modern farming, what happens? They have to use all those chemical fertilizers, right? So in organic farming, what they have done, they are using all the natural pesticides and even organic manure are used, okay, so instead of chemicals. So that to avoid chemical substances, they have again come up with organic or say all these natural pesticides. So no genetic modification is done. So you might have heard about hybrid, right, wherein the genetic modifications are done. Here that is not done to increase the yield of crops. So that is totally not done. And it is like the modern way of farming. Do remember, this has come again, the old thing has come again as a modern way, not that modern way of farming in the sense you'll be using just for the sake of getting high yield, you are using all the chemical fertilizers and all. No, this is again the traditional way of farming wherein they used to use all these natural fertilizers and all. They have come up with the same concept, but yes, now it has come, that's the reason we consider it as modern way of farming. So the next is major crops. Very interesting, right? So see, you can see the pictures like how all these major crops, all those things, like you can check in the pictures itself. So what are the major crops? Say when it comes to farming, a few things are popularly grown in a particular area or a particular land or particular nation, and definitely that will be exported, or sometimes that will be sufficient for a particular area. Let us know what are the major crops that has been produced. So a large variety of crops are grown. This is definite, like that is very much important and that is even necessary, right? So a large variety of crops are grown. Why that has to be grown? As the population is growing, definitely their needs has to be met. To meet those needs, you have to have this large variety of crops to be grown. So apart from that, even crops do act as a raw material for the further agro-based industries, right? Those industries, agro-based, those are totally depending upon the agriculture, right? For example, to get wheat flour, Ashirvad atta and all you come across, right? So when you are talking about those things, it means that they need the crop, they are depending upon the agriculture, right? Yes. So, and even the oil and all, you have vegetable oil, you have all these nuts oil like groundnut oil, sunflower oil, so all these things. So those are depending upon the agriculture itself. So that is the reason agriculture, or say the crops itself, becomes the raw material for the agro-based industries. So some of the major crops, food crops here are rice, wheat, millets, maize. Okay, so these are the major food crops. Again, fiber major food crops. Fiber, those produces fiber. So it is like jute and cotton, and yes, we have come across these things again and again. So beverages, tea and coffee. Very interesting, right? Yes. So let us know in detail regarding how it is grown or how rich it is, where and all we get all these things in detail. So when it comes to rice, you see, you get all this basmati rice. You can see how the rice is grown, okay, like what environment is needed, what kind of soil is needed, okay. So you can see in the picture itself. So as you all know, it is the major food crop of the world, okay. Most of the people, they depend upon rice itself. So rice is something every person needs it on a daily basis. So that's the reason it is a staple diet, that too in tropical and subtropical regions, okay. And how it is grown then? It needs high temperature, high humidity, and even rainfall. See, you need all the three. High temperature is needed, high humidity is needed, high rainfall is needed. So it grows best on alluvial soil. So this you can see, right, alluvial soil. And the second picture is clay soil, okay, like a clay, out of clays, okay, like you know this clay soil, right, to make all this pot and all they use, right. So that soil is called as clay soil. So you can see it here, okay, clay soil, alluvial soil. So China, okay, China is the first leading production, okay, like when it comes to rice, it is leading and it is the first highest producing nation. Then it is followed by like Egypt, Sri Lanka, and even India, and then Japan, okay. So these are the countries, apart from China, these are the countries which are growing this in abundance, okay, like totally in a large quantity. So favorable conditions of climate, okay, as in West Bengal and Bangladesh, 2 or 3 crops are grown in a year, nothing but if at all there is a good climate, okay, so twice or thrice in a year they grow this particular rice. Then comes wheat. Okay, so again wheat, you can see, right, so what kind of soil is needed. So the picture here, like wheat crop, how it looks, and then when it is separated, okay, so how that looks, okay. So it requires moderate temperature, no doubt, and rainfall. See, when it comes to moderate temperature and rainfall, it is needed while it is growing, okay. So growth, during the growth of the wheat, you need moderate temperature with rainfall, okay, even that too moderate rainfall. But yes, during the harvesting, it needs a bright sunshine, okay. Always remember, it requires moderate temperature and rainfall during the growth of the wheat crop, and yes, it needs a bright sunshine during harvesting, nothing but during removal, okay. So it grows best in loamy soil. You can see the picture here, how it looks, loamy soil, okay, total, what I can say, sticky, okay. Yes, so where it is grown, yes, when it comes to India, it is grown during winter, and yes, other states, that is USA, Canada, Argentina, Russia, Ukraine, Australia. So these are the places where you can find, or say these are the major producers of the wheat, okay, wheat crop. The next is millets. Nowadays millets are gaining much more importance, okay. So those millets are ragi, jowar, okay, or say bajra. So these are grown, and it is gaining much more importance nowadays because of people are being very health cautious. So that's the reason they are gaining much more importance here. So when it comes to this, it is known as the coarse grain, and yes, it is grown on less fertile. It doesn't need any much more fertility, okay, but yes, definitely it is very rich in nature. It is good, no doubt, but again it is rich in protein, vitamin, etc. Okay, so yes, when it comes to less fertile and even sandy soils are okay for it. Then hardy crop that needs low rainfall, very less rainfall is necessary, high to moderate, okay, not much high temperature, high to moderate temperature is needed, adequate rainfall, not much, like it is not depending upon, totally it is not depending upon rainfall, moderate rainfall is enough. So in India, like we grow as millets, jowar, ragi, and bajra, and other countries which grow these are Nigeria, China, and Niger, okay, like Niger. So these are the countries wherein they are rich in growing millets. Next is maize, corn, sweet corn. Everybody enjoys, right, while eating those corns. Each and every person enjoys eating corn. So it is popularly known as corn, okay, we call it as corn. So it looks very nice, right, to see itself, it is very attractive in nature. So here, what kind of temperature or what kind of rainfall is necessary? So when it comes to growing of these crop like maize, it requires moderate temperature, rainfall and lots of sunshine. So sunshine is main, rainfall is adequate, okay, so moderate temperature, nothing but sunshine. Like when it comes to it is like humidity, okay, like not totally the rainfall, not totally sunshine, moderate temperature is needed. So it needs a well drained fertile soil. Do remember, the soil should be very fertile. Okay, it needs very fertile soil, and yes, it is grown, okay, like in North America, Brazil, China, Russia, Canada, Mexico and India. So various colorful varieties are produced. Here we have only this yellow or say orange color, but there are countries which are even having the pink or even some different colors, okay, they have their own colors for it, okay, so those are produced here. So maize is very attractive, it is used as fodder, it is used as food, right, people do enjoy eating it, that too especially during rainfall, right, yes. The next is cotton. You see cotton, so nice it looks, right, yes. So when it comes to cotton, again it is a raw material, right, for the cotton industry, especially for the cotton industry. So cotton production, okay, people who produce cotton, they are supplying the raw materials for the cotton industry. And yes, how it is produced or what kind of temperature and all it is useful or say it is needed, yes, it requires high temperature, and the best soil, okay, that is black soil, okay, so the black soil is best to grow cotton here, understood. So like when it comes to black soil and alluvial soil, both are good, but when it comes to black soil, cotton grows very good on black soil, okay, yes. Again like when it comes to the temperature, it needs high temperature, light rainfall, because cotton gets if at all there is a heavy rainfall, definitely the crops will be totally lost here, okay. So it needs again a light rainfall, that is 210 frost free days. With that it needs, yes, frost free, what I can say is fog kind of, okay, during winter you have this, right, fog, okay, that is necessary, and bright sunshine for its growth. So while it is growing, okay, early days it needs some frost free days, okay, like totally, but yes, then yes, bright sunshine is necessary, okay. So totally it needs the climate should be very good so that it can be grown in a good area. So the producers here are China, Egypt, Brazil, India and even USA and Pakistan. So these are the countries who are leading, okay, they are leading producers of cotton. The next is jute. You see jute, how it is produced, what kind of plant it is, and see how what kind of products it is giving. So it is called as a golden fiber, right? Yes, everybody calls it as a golden fiber. It is a fiber, and yes, India is producing it in a large quantity, and even Bangladesh for that matter. So it grows good in tropical areas. It actually needs high temperature, heavy rainfall and humid climate. It should be like totally moist, and grows well on alluvial soil. Okay, it grows very well on alluvial soil, and most of the people, they do depend upon jute, and nowadays export. Okay, India is exporting jute, and that's the reason it is gaining much more income. Okay, so jute is a golden fiber, and again in different nation, jute is having much more value. Okay, yes. The next is coffee. Yes, everybody enjoys it, right? See how attractive it is. And yes, when a person is hungry, especially when a person is very hungry, seeing all these things, it would be like cholo chodo class and go and have it, right? Yes. Okay, anyway, jokes apart, yes. So when it comes to coffee again, okay, this is totally very attractive actually. At least not the coffee, but yes, the chocolate is really attractive. Okay, anyway, when it comes to coffee, it requires a warm and wet climate. okay, and even well-drained loamy soil. Again, do remember, wheat also needed this loamy soil, right? Totally sticky soil. Yes, here also same thing. And hill slopes are more suitable, okay? That's the reason coffee, Chikmagalur we say, right? Chikmagalur is totally famous for coffee, and even Coorg, right? Coorg, like Kodagu. So even that place is famous for coffee and also growing of coffee. Yes, so leading producers are again India, Brazil and Colombia. So see, there are many stories related to coffee, who introduced or who did really discover this and all. There are many stories. Let us know one version of this. So there are different versions. So one such story is here about Khaldi. Okay, he was an Arab goat herder. He was puzzled seeing that most of this goat, they were eating all this, he was puzzled seeing the queer, nothing but seeing the whole herd, okay, flock of goat, okay, they were eating, those goats were having this, they were feeding, okay, like all the berry kind of a thing. So he was totally puzzled, what actually it is. So how does it taste? So what happened, he took a few things and he tasted himself. So when he tasted, he experienced a sense of exhilaration. Totally. See what happened, when do you drink tea, coffee, etc. Most of you people might have gone to coffee day or even coffee shops just to have coffee, right? A cup of coffee, relaxing. Totally, like you will forget about your worries, everything. Your body becomes totally relaxed. You feel very good to drink all those coffee, or maybe even chocolates made up of coffee, right? You enjoy it. So Neff, when this happened, when he tasted those berries, he felt that exhilaration, like totally relaxed, totally like he was, expressed in such a way that yes, people started getting coffee, like yes, so there is something out of this. And most of the people, they do depend upon coffee, okay, they do drink it, they enjoy it like anything, okay. So you can see the pictures, you can enjoy it, okay, at least through the pictures. Next comes the tea. Again, if you people know, your parents do depend upon tea, right? Morning tea, evening tea. Yes, they do have this, right? Yes, so it is a beverage crop again, grown as a plantation. So it requires totally cool climate, Kerala. Okay, and well, even Assam, okay, like, and well distributed high rainfall throughout the year for growth of tinder leaves. Those leaves, very tinder, nothing but ಏನಂತಾರೆ ಒಂಥರ ತುಂಬ ಎಳೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ, okay, so those things. So well drained loamy soil, again very sticky soil, and even gentle slopes, okay, not totally hilly region just like your coffee, but yes, the slopey region is good for these things, and labor are needed in large. The reason is they have to remove those leaves, right, for making those tea powders and all. So when it comes to the producers, China, Sri Lanka, India and Kenya are the major producers of tea. Clear? Yes. So what is agricultural development? See, it refers to the efforts, nothing but every day what all they are doing, how they are producing, are they really reaching the people out there? Now you understood all the major crops, you understood certain farming style and all, right? Now let us know about agricultural development. So it refers to the efforts made just to increase the farm production, how and all it is done. Now, if at all we are still following the traditional way of farming, can we reach each and every person out there? No, that won't be possible, right? So we have to come, or we have to adopt this modern way of farming, that is high yielding crops should be used, irrigation we have to use, so all these things. So the method that is adopted, every now and then they keep changing it, right? So increasing farm production in order to meet the growing demand of increasing population. As the population increases, we have to reach them, nothing but we have to fulfill their needs. To meet the needs, again we have to increase the production. So it is how it is achieved then. What actually it aims for? Nothing but it aims to increase the food security. So what actually is food security? We'll be knowing it. Okay, see, larger holdings are more suitable for commercial agriculture as in USA, Australia and Canada. So when it comes to agricultural development, it is how it is achieved. It is achieved through increasing the cropped area. In what way it can be used in a better way, so that we get all the crops that in a large amount for sake of commercialization. So the number of crops grown, again how much area is used for cropping, okay, the cropped area, the total number of produce, nothing but the crops grown, improving irrigation facility, because modern way of farming needs again improvement in certain things, including the technology, including even the irrigation facility or even the seeds that you are using. Then use of fertilizers and high yielding variety of seeds. So as I told you, all this comes under modern way of farming, modernization. Okay, next is mechanization of agriculture is also another aspect. So mechanically, so either are you using the labors, required labors are used, or are you using machines? Okay, so which is the thing that stands better here? And yes, as you all know, agriculture has been developed in different parts of the state. Okay, so there is intensive agriculture where crops are grown on small holding mostly for subsistence. So people, what they do in foreign countries and all, people don't depend upon other farmers. Okay, unlike India, we depend totally upon the farmer, right? So however they get the produce, we go get it, right? It is like commercialization. For the sake of commercialization, farmers are producing. But in different countries, what they do, they use the area. Okay, whatever land area they have got, they use it for their sake, nothing but for their subsistence. Okay, so that's the reason, like most of the people that in USA, UK or say like Canada, Australia and all, they totally depend upon their own. Okay, nothing but they'll be having a small land, they cultivate on their own and they totally become like it is for self-sufficient thing. Okay, so what actually is food security? See, you can see so many food is available. So whatever the farmer is producing, okay, whatever the farmer is producing, is it sufficient to meet a particular area? Okay, it exists when all the people at all times have the access to sufficient, safe and nutritious food. It is not only about getting food. The food what we get should be nutritious in nature. Right, it should be nutritious in nature. If it is not nutritious, then it's of no use that we are using that particular thing. So now, whatever production they have done, crop production, whatever they have produced, now whether that thing is like, whether it is available to each and every person, whether it is sufficient. So if at all it is not sufficient, then definitely there is scarcity. So food security is nothing but it has to meet each and every person's need, okay, and whether it is sufficient, safe and even nutritious, so that it is meeting their dietary needs. So this itself is main thing. And even to lead a healthy and active life, how good it is. Understood? So that itself is food security. The next is farm in India. See, to know this agricultural development, there are differences. Now you can make out, see, there are two stories which I'll be telling it to you people so that you can understand the difference between agricultural development in India and other states. Now when it comes to India, there is a person called Munna Lal and he is a small farmer, okay, in a village, in a particular village, that is Adilabad, Ghazipur district in Uttar Pradesh. Okay, now he is having 1.5 hectares of land, wherein his house is totally far from the land. Okay, it is in the main village, but he is having a land to cultivate. So now what he does there is, he is having all modernized way of farming. Okay, you can see in the picture all this modernized way of farming. Nothing but he is not depending upon the traditional way of farming, but he is using modern way of farming. So the land is totally fertile, okay, and he is growing at least 2 crops, maybe rice or wheat and sometimes with pulses. Okay, it totally depends. But yes, he is having a fertile land and he is using it to the maximum. Now he takes advices from his friends, elders, and even the government. Okay, so a government agricultural officers to bring improvement in the farming, how well he can do the farming, can he adopt any of the changes in the agriculture, can he get any of the modernized, again should he get or adopt any of the different ways of farming. All those things he keeps discussing with his friends or even elders or say agricultural like government officers. Okay, and as he knows, his friends are following all this traditional way of farming, but yes, he is using modernized way of farming. Now what he does it, he takes a tractor on rent, okay, and even he's like taking water on rent, wherein there is a tube well nearby his field, and from that he is taking those things on rent. So now it means that yes, he is using a modernized way of farming. Okay, he's following that. So he has, apart from this, now he is having buffalo and even hens. Okay, so now whatever milk he gets from buffaloes, what he does, he sells it. Okay, where he does sell it, in the cooperative store which is located nearby his town, and he is selling those like he sells the milk there. Okay, so apart from this, like agriculture is doing this livestock. So apart from all these things, what actually is doing, he is even a member of cooperative society, wherein it advises him what kind of fodder to be used for his animals, safety measures to be taken for the health and safety of the livestock, okay, or even artificial insemination if at all it is necessary. So those advices are given by the cooperative society, and he is a member of that. Now his family is also supporting him thoroughly. Okay, it is not like he is the alone person who is doing, but yes, his family is also helping him to carry out the works in farming. And apart from that, he is taking credit from the bank, nothing but for bringing, see, when it comes to, he has to pay the rent, right, rent of water, rent of even the tractor and all, so he needs capital, more capital. So what he is doing, he is taking loan from the bank, okay, or even from agricultural cooperative societies he is taking like as a support, because he has to adopt all the modern way of farming, right? Yes. So now he is getting good yield. It is sufficiently he will be using it, and something that is remaining, what he does it, he sells it in a mandi. Okay, nearby it is located, and he sells it there so that he can get some earning. Okay, something as earning. Now, since the lack of, what happens, see, usually when it comes to these farmers and all, what happens, they'll not be having any storage facility. Unlike in different countries, they do have. In India, like they have to pay again rent, and also it goes very difficult. So what these people do is they sell it, even though the market is not favorable for them. Like maybe they are not getting any profit, or even the money what they'll get in return will be very less. But even then, they go for it. The reason is, they cannot store it, okay, because they don't have any storage house, they don't have any warehouse so that they can keep it, okay. So that's the reason what they do, they sell it, though it is not favorable for them, okay, the rate whatever at which they have to sell, even though it is not favorable, they sell it. So in recent years, measures are taken by the government so that people, or say the farmers, can store the this particular product. Okay, so to store it, all the measures are being taken by the government. So this is first story that is related to Munna Lal. Okay, do keep in your mind. The second story, it is related to USA. Okay, and let's see how USA, being a developed nation, how it actually carries out the farming here. Okay, so see, now we did speak about 1.5 acres, right? So when it comes to this, the average size of a farm here, it is about 250 hectares, and the farmer resides in the farm itself. You can make the difference. His house, Munna Lal's house, was somewhere in the main village, and his farm was somewhere else. So daily he had to travel there, right? Daily he had to come there. But when it comes to USA, what these people are doing, they are having their house in the farm itself. It is a very large group of area, like a large area. That's the reason they are having their house in the farm itself, so that they can meet up all the necessary things in the field. So what are the major crops they do grow there? Soybean, wheat, cotton, corn and sugar beet. So these are the few things they produce. So Joe Horan, okay, he is the farmer here who is in the Midwest of USA, and he is having 300 hectares of land for agriculture. See, 1.5 acres and 300 hectares, like totally, you can't even compare it. Just imagine 300. Okay, yes, wherein he is growing corn. Okay, he grows corn here after making sure that the soil is very fertile. And what he does every now and then he is giving that soil for testing in the laboratory. Do we do this? Do our farmer does these things? Or probably our farmers are very confident that yes, they can make this soil a fertile one using the modern way of, or say like using all these what I can say is fertilizers or other things, or even manure and all. Using that they can get the fertility to the soil. But here you see, to check the nutrient of the soil, whether it is sufficient, whether it is like good, more than enough or something, to check all those things, every now and then he sends a sample, okay, for the testing here, that to soil testing laboratory. To that he sends and he keeps a check on it. Apart from this, he is taking all the measures for pest control, and yes, he even makes sure that the soil and water resources meet the needs for the crop. Nothing but it is fertile, the soil should be fertile, and the water resource, whatever he is using for the crop, it should be sufficient. Okay, so that is what is being expected. So he does it, he keeps a check on it. Now, as he is giving this soil for testing and all to check its fertility, this helps to plan like scientific fertilizer programs. So it helps him, okay, like for planning his programs. So what actually he does, or what actually he has, is he has a computer that is linked, okay, linked to the satellite, wherein it shows the whole 300 hectares to him. Okay, it shows whole 300 hectares. So now what happens, he can check it and use the things, whatever it is necessary. If at all any area needs chemical fertilizer or even pesticides, if at all it in the satellite itself, it shows in the computer, right, like what actually it is, how the crops are growing there, whether it needs certain things, then he'll be meeting those needs by checking it in the picture itself. So agricultural operations are carried through tractors, thresher, seed drills, leveler, combined harvester, etc. So nothing but totally modernized way. Okay, they have adopted all the modernized way of farming. Now do remember, when it comes to USA, they are the farmers are like businessmen, because they are producing the crops for commercialization, nothing but for selling itself. But our farmers are not like that. They are not businessmen. They don't have the mind of doing the business. But what they want is, they want to serve people, okay, by getting a good produce. So they have automated grain storage. Okay, we don't have this. That's the reason what our farmers do, they always sell it, right? Whatever goods they have produced, they always sell it. The reason is, now they do not have any storage house here. But here, when it comes to USA, they have automated grain storage, so that they can store the grains and dispatch it to market agencies whenever they feel that okay, they can get a good yield or say good income out of selling those crops. Definitely at that time itself, they will bring out the crops and they sell it. So here you can see the difference. Now the farmers, as I told you, they are like businessmen and not like a peasant farmer. So we have this kind of farming, right? We have a farming wherein farmers work as a peasant here rather than a businessman, because they never think about making profit, but they always think about yielding in a good way so that they can send the crops to the people and people enjoy those things. Okay, we treat farmers as God here, right, next to God. So because they are really doing a good work. If at all, imagine any farmer says that no, today I'll not work, I don't want to work in the field. What would be our condition? Would we get food? Would we be able to get all the vegetables that we eat today? Definitely not, right? Yes, so we have to appreciate our farmers. We have to thank them for whatever they are giving. So with this, dear students, we have finished your unit, that is agriculture unit. Still 2 more units are there related to geography. Very soon I'll be dealing with that. Dear students, if you have any doubts, feel free to contact me at any time. So today we have discussed about certain things, that is kinds of farming, okay, like how the farming has been carried out. Apart from that, we did discuss even about the major crops. Do remember, you will get a question on major crops as an MCQ, and even sometimes even as a fill in the blanks, or even a question on that. So please see that you go through it thoroughly. And yes, definitely the kinds of farming also is very important, so try to understand it, okay, understand it in a correct manner. And if you have any doubts, feel free to free to approach me at any time so that I can clear your doubts. So thank you, dear students, thank you so much for your patience. Okay, enjoy your day, have a great day. Thank you.